كفاني علم ربي من سؤالي واختياري
Assalamu alaikum. In this video, we will be discussing about research methods, construct and operational definitions, measurement scales, and then at the end, we will learn some points about notations. Let's start with research method. There are many of them like observational, correlational, survey method, case study, interview, etc. But here we will be specifically talking about experimental method and non-experimental method. Now let's start with an experimental method. In this method, we are actually finding cause and effect relationship by providing treatment to some individuals and no treatment to others. We have two different groups: experimental group and control group. Individuals in experimental group are getting treatment and individuals of control group are getting no treatment or placebo treatment. Now let's see about variables in experimental method. There are four different types of variables: independent variable, dependent variable, participant variable, non-participant or environmental variables. Independent variables are those variables that we are changing or manipulating as a researcher. Dependent variables are changing because of the manipulation in independent variables. Let's understand this with an example in which we will be seeing effect of sadness on our performance. Let's say we are using two individuals in this example, one with the sadness and other with no feeling of sadness. Here sadness is an independent variable and performance is a dependent variable. By changing independent variable, we will get effect on dependent variable. Individual with sad feeling may show low performance and individual with no feeling of sadness may give high performance. Now let's see what are participant variables and environmental variables. Participant variables are the characteristics of individuals in an experiment like gender, age group, intelligence, etc. Environmental variables are external variables like lighting, weather, etc. Beside these variables, there are some other factors that can affect our experiment. So, in order to control them, researcher uses three different ways to control external variables. First one is random selection of participant. Second one is having individuals of both groups with matching characteristics. Third one is holding constant some of the variables. So these were the three methods that a researcher uses to control variables other than the variables used in experimental group. Now let's move towards second research method, that is non-experimental method. In this method, researchers have no control over groups. Groups are pre-existing basically. We have non-equivalent groups and random participants in both groups. Pre-post studies are performed once before treatment and once after the treatment. If the changes are observed in pre-post studies, it means that treatment we have provided has shown its effects. Now let's understand one of non-experimental method, that is correlational method. One limitation of non-experimental method is that it does not give us cause and effect relationship. So as a correlational method, in this method we are observing correlation between dependent and independent variables by controlling other variables. One important thing I want to explain is that when we are getting numerical scores from research, we will use correlational method. But when we are getting categories, the chi-square test will be used. We have scores from -1 to +1 in correlational method. The symbols of minus and plus are giving us the direction of correlation. When positive, we have direct correlation, and when negative, we have inverse correlation. The numbers are telling us the strength of correlation between variables. At 1, we have perfect correlation, either perfect positive correlation or perfect negative correlation. So this was all about non-experimental and experimental methods. Now let's see what are construct and operational definitions. Constructs are internal attributions or characteristics that cannot be observed directly. For example, intelligence or sociability of a person. whereas operational definitions tell us how to measure constructs. Constructs are internal attributions, and operational definitions tells us how to measure those internal attributions. Here comes another two types of variables. First one is discrete variables that include whole numbers like 1, 2, 3. For example, number of siblings you have. Second one is continuous variables that include infinite numbers like 1, 1.1, 1.25, 7.75, etc. For example, marks you have obtained in your test. Now let's learn about measurement scales. There are four different types of measurement scales: nominal, ordinal, interval, and ratio scale. First of all, nominal scale. It is not a true scale. Values and codes are arranged by oneself according to the categories. Researcher itself nominate these codes. For example, for female gender, one may uses F, and for male gender, M. Here F and M are researchers' own choice. Among the three categories or characteristics of measurement scales, it does not have any. No magnitude, no equal units, no absolute zero. Let's talk about second scale, ordinal scale. In this scale, we sort out the measurements in ascending or descending order. We basically give positions or ranks to the measurements. For example, ranking of 5 students on the basis of their marks. The student having highest marks ranked 1 and so on. When we talk about the characteristics of measurement scale, it have only characteristics of magnitude. It only gives us magnitude but no equal units, no absolute zero. Now let's see what is an interval scale. When a test is administered and a level of ability, any ability is checked, then we get measurement through interval scale. For example, abilities like comprehension, introversion, extroversion. The characteristics of a measurement scales it gives us magnitude, equal units, but no absolute zero. Now let's discuss the last scale, ratio scale. It is the highest and most informative scale. It is used to measure, for example, weight, height, and the measurements related to the ratio. It have all characteristics of previous scales with addition to absolute zero. It means it gives us magnitude, equal units, and absolute zero as well. When taking as a whole, ordinal and nominal scales provides us qualitative data in the form of magnitude, whereas other two scales, interval and ratio scale, provides us qualitative data as well in addition to the quantitative one. In order to better understand all these concepts of measurement scale, have a look at this example. Let's see notations now. For example, for population and sample, capital N and small n are used. For sets of scores, X and Y are used. For summation, sigma, Greek letter, is used. For frequency, small f is used. This was about notations. Now comes the order of operations. First of all, calculations within the parentheses are solved. Secondly, the scared values or other exponent values are solved. Thirdly, from left to right, multiplication and division is performed. Fourthly, summation is performed at the end. Any additional adding and subtracting is completed from left to right. Here comes the whole lecture. If you find this video informative and helpful for you, do like it and subscribe the channel and press the bell icon. If you have any query related to the content covered in the video, comment below. Till the next video, take care of yourself and your beloved ones. Fi aman Allah.